Hey guys, so we want to talk to you about the gear that we take on these small and bushy streams. And the reality is that we keep it pretty minimalistic, pretty basic. We put on a lot of miles while we're walking on these streams, and we want to keep our shoulders, for one thing, from just carrying the load, too much load, and getting super sore, and just keeping it down to exactly what it is that we need, because that's kind of who we are as people too. We're minimalists.
Yeah, well, really. And the honest truth is that as a kid, I started fly fishing when I was 5. And I grew up in a really poor family, to be blunt about it. And I would say from the time I was 5 until probably 25, I fished with a $79 Mitchell Special, which was a cheap graphite, or I guess my first one, if you want to go right back, was fiberglass and whatever I could get my hands on. And then I was able to get a fly rod combo for $79. So, it's rod, reel, line, and away you go. So the premise of everything that we share is, if you got what you got, use what you got. It doesn't matter. There's things about different gear that really works well, and through the years, because we've had a really close connection with the Orvis company, as ambassadors for them, and working with them through the whole time we had our lodge and that kind of thing, we've gotten some nice gear. There's no doubt about it. And right off the hop, you can...
Yeah, and it has had an impact on some of what we do. There's no question.
And how we do it, right?
Yeah, decent gear. You just don't need a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of anything, really.
So right off the hop, as soon as I got... It's funny, because I'm going to transfer you right from a $79 Mitchell Special to the Orvis Helios 3F. Yes, if you like good gear, there's a few places where I do say there's a massive difference. And with the Helios 3, there was a lot of great succession of how the rods were put together, what the feel is, the loading point, and just the construction of these things. And the 3F, the Orvis Helios 3F, which I'm holding, is an expensive rod, but by God, it's got a flex point in these small and bushy streams where it just loads kind of in that mid, just above mid, and it pauses and flexes. And as we get into the casting part of this course, you'll see how imperative it is to have a rod that can go up to 1 o'clock, pause, and you can place that because you have a loaded 2 or 3 seconds, and that's counterintuitive, but we'll get into that. But being able to then place that little bit of fly line and leader exactly where you want it.
Yes, it's very smooth when it comes to the actual loading, like you say, and in particular with short casts, because we're going to get into that. There's a lot of short casts that we end up doing on these small bushy streams, and that's what you need. Is you need to be able to feel that cast, and it will go where you want it to go. There is accuracy in this rod.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, right with it, we've got a Mirage LT2 reel to go with that. This is a 5-weight rod. I guess that's a really important thing. And we use a really nicely balanced system. Isn't critical, but at the same time, having something light that you're not trying to chug this way and that way, sitting at the bottom of your rod is a really bonus for sure.
Absolutely, and in some situations, having a decent drag system, it is a good thing.
Yeah.
You're, in a lot of situations, you don't, absolutely need that, but it does help you. And
it has to be smooth.
You want to have something smooth that can pick up line easily.
And
that's the reality.
Yeah, and a really nice, smooth startup drag. So if that fish suddenly goes, well, your reel's not locking.
Jamming.
And you got to make sure that your line is put on your reel somewhat tightly, because you don't want, if you get those loose coils and you quickly, the backlash in your reel as it's going one way or the other way, the line coming in and out, you don't want to risk having that, that little loop jam or startup inertia when that big brown goes, suddenly it turns, or a hot rainbow suddenly just goes and jumps 15 feet. Well, good luck to you. Be sure to see this full video as part of our Fly Fishing Trout Streams Master Course, now available at the links on your screen.